Rounding off our list at number 10, Radojka Kekman. Radojka is a Serbian influencer and Instagram personality with 21,000 followers, and she became famous in Serbia for her Insta clout. She was often photographed with famous local music and film personalities. But Radojka was thrown in jail for possessing 2 assault rifles. Not shocking enough, you say? Well, that was just the first raid. The second raid occurred at the house of her friend Svetozar, where police confiscated dozens of guns and ammunition. What does an influencer need all those guns for, you might ask? Reports claim they were not only storing the rifles, they were storing them for a powerful Montenegro gang called the Skladar clan. Authorities say that Radojka was part of a organized crime group who were afraid that she was going to reveal everything she knew about them while in custody. She was held for 30 days and was charged with manufacturing, possessing, and trafficking illegal weaponry. And sliding into the number 9 spot, Suhail al-Jameel. Suhail is a popular gay influencer with over 170,000 followers on Twitter. But back in October of 2019, he was arrested in Saudi Arabia after he posted a shirtless selfie to social media. Just shirtless. He was also wearing leopard print shorts. This is the photo. He explained on Snapchat that he was arrested for wearing shorts at a beach and later charged with sharing nude photos online. He wrote on Twitter in 2019, "LGBTQ are not welcome in Saudi Arabia. You must live in secret and can't live in peace. You want tourism, but you won't give us freedoms." Saudi Arabia implemented 2 new rules on public decency after they finally opened up the country to tourists for the first time. Men and women are required by law to dress modestly, covering shoulders and knees in public, and Suhail is currently awaiting trial and faces 3 years in prison for posting a selfie wearing shorts. And at number 8 on our list, we got Mercedes' mum. Mercedes' mum, aka Margarita Tomovska, would post various photos to her now deleted Instagram account that showed her making a mockery of the NSW justice system, sometimes posting videos that showed her blatantly breaking the law. Back in 2018, Margarita led police on a high-speed chase at more than 230 kilometers an hour. To make matters worse, she had an unrestrained child in the back seat of her Mercedes. She told police that she was speeding because she was under duress and was terrified of the man that was sitting next to her in the car. That man was Christopher King, and police were tipped off that he was inside the car and could have been armed. The claim, however, did not hold up in court. She was sentenced to 18 months in jail and denied bail after another judge said it was only by the grace of God that no one was killed. And at lucky number 7 on our list, we got Anna Sorokin. From her Instagram account, the Anna Delvey, it seemed like she had the most glamorous lifestyle in the world that anyone in their right mind would be jealous of. She lived in some of the most luxurious boutique hotels in the world, she wore the fanciest clothes, and she entertained celebrities and socialites. But Anna Sorokin was a Russian immigrant posing as a German heiress, and she claimed she had a 60 million euro trust fund that was stashed away in overseas banks. Playing Anna Sorokin was something she did for years. She conned her way through New York, getting her friends to pay for trips they took together, somehow always forgetting to pay them back. I love those friends. Then in 2017, she was arrested on 6 charges of grand larceny after scamming business acquaintances and luxury hotels for a total amount of $275,000. She was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison. Some of that time she spent at Rikers Island in New York, but she's now serving her sentence at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility. Moving on to the number 6 spot, we got Melina Roberge. Melina Roberge is known to the Australian media as Cocaine Babe, and that nickname wasn't given lightly. She was known to the Instagram world for her extravagant lifestyle. She was regularly on luxurious trips for free. In July of 2016, she accepted a free trip on the cruise ship the Sea Princess. Hey, I've been on the Sea Princess, that's weird. I used to cruise a lot with my family when I was a kid. Anyways, okay, so her sugar daddy gave her a trip on the Sea Princess for free, and that stopped in places all along the southern hemisphere like Peru, Colombia, New Zealand, and Australia. But when she docked in Australia, she and her 2 friends were arrested for importing 209 pounds of cocaine into the country in their luggage. And that was something she was paid $100,000 to do as part of an international drug smuggling operation. She and her 2 friends pleaded guilty, and Melina was sentenced to 8 years. Halfway there now, at number 5, we got Rossi Lorathio Adams II. That's a name for ya. Rossi, also known by Polo, founded the social media company State Snaps while he was a student. At one point, he had almost 1 million followers on his accounts, which mostly consisted of people being filmed drunk or engaging in crude behavior. But back in April of 2019, Rossi was convicted of conspiracy to interfere with commerce by force, threats, and violence. Alright, so like, what did he do? He tried to purchase the internet domain doitforslate.com, a slogan his business became associated with. But doitforslate.com was already owned, and the person who owned it refused to sell it. So then he threatened the owner's friend with gun emojis. He then got his cousin, Sherman Hopkins Jr., a convicted felon, to break into the domain owner's home and force him at gunpoint to hand over the domain doitforslate.com to Polo. Well, that escalated quickly. Hopkins was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Adams is in custody and is currently awaiting sentencing at the time of this recording, but he also faces 20 years. All for a domain name, eh? Alright, coming to the number 4 slot, Tammy Steffens. Tammy Steffens was a fitness influencer from Florida. Of course she's from Florida. Whose business, Beyond Fit Bikini, included training and coaching bodybuilders and bikini competitors. She was sentenced to almost 5 years in federal jail after she pleaded guilty to charges of cyber stalking and sending threats to people online, including her colleagues and competitors in the fitness community. Tammy used 369 different accounts to threaten and harass people on Instagram. According to an investigation, she called, texted, emailed, and contacted at least 6 people over the course of 2 years. She made various threats against people's lives, attempted to discredit the reputation of her peers, and even told one of the victims that she would, quote, slice them up into little pieces. But it gets worse. Oh yes it does. Authorities think that she could have been linked to 2 separate incidents in July of 2018 that she tried to frame a colleague for. The first, she reported to police that a headless doll was left on her porch with a note that read, "New toy for the kids." And the second, 5 days after that last incident, she reported to police that someone tried to kidnap her daughter, something she also tried to blame on a colleague. And at number 3 on our list, we got Nabilla Benattia. Nabilla is a reality TV star known as the French Kim Kardashian. Back in 2014, she was arrested and held in custody for several weeks for stabbing her boyfriend Thomas Vergara in the chest when they were arguing. Thomas was found in a pool of blood with wounds in his chest. At the time, she faced 30 years in prison for attempted murder. She was sentenced to 6 months only, but avoided prison time because of the French system of penalty adjustments, and her boyfriend ended up reconciling before the trial. She and Thomas announced in April of 2019 that they were expecting their first child. Well, if that's not the most French thing I've ever heard. Getting close now, at number 2, we got Canhua Ren, also known as Reset. Ren is a Spanish YouTube influencer with 1.2 million subs who went viral in 2017 for a video that shows him offering a homeless man Oreos stuffed with toothpaste, along with some cash. He told his followers, "Maybe I went a little far, but let's look at the positive side. It will help him clean his teeth. I don't think he has often brushed his teeth since he became poor." Obviously, this homeless man threw up when he ate the Oreos, and the video sparked international criticism, which forced Ren to return to the homeless man and give him more money in a new video. He showed very little remorse for this blatant act of disrespect, and Ren was sentenced to 15 months in jail and ordered to pay 20,000 euros in compensation to the victim. And he's not allowed to post to YouTube for 5 years. And at number 1 on our list, we have Wyatt Pasek. Wyatt was yet another influencer on our list who boasted a lavish and crazy lifestyle on social media. He was known as Young 10X on Instagram and would regularly take photos with stacks of money and expensive cars. He told his followers he made his fortune through smart investment strategies, but there was a lot going on behind the facade. In reality, he and his associates bought fentanyl online from China, processed it in a secret lab, and disguised it as oxycodone. Not sure if you guys know about fentanyl, but that stuff is not something you want to play around with. The smallest amount can kill you, let alone an entire pill. Wyatt and his associates turned out to be the instigators of the opioid crisis. Needless to say, he was eventually arrested after selling massive quantities of the pills across the US. Police seized 100,000 pills, a stack of fentanyl, and cashed. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy and other charges. Wyatt will spend the next 17 years behind bars for his blatant disregard for human life. Olivia Jade, a YouTuber with almost 2 million subscribers, is in some serious trouble because her mother, Lori Loughlin, is being targeted by the FBI. There is a chance that Olivia Jade might go to jail because of this. The huge Hollywood stars and rich business people are being targeted in an FBI fraud investigation circling around college admissions. Apparently, it's illegal to bribe a college or university to get your child admitted. Huge stars like Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives are being targeted, and also Olivia Jade's mother, Lori Loughlin, best known for her role on the hit TV show Full House. Olivia Jade has been posting videos on YouTube since 2014, and from the videos it's clear that her family is incredibly rich. Not only for Lori's role as Aunt Becky on Full House, but also because her father is Massimo Giannulli, the Target guy. Yes, the Target guy. In one video called Luxury: What I Got for Christmas, Olivia shows off what she got from Santa in 2017. Yeezys, an iPhone 10, and a slew of luxury goods. In 2018, she got a Chanel bag valued at least $3,000 US and Prada shoes. Well, isn't that nice? I wish I had Prada shoes. These videos are some of the most popular on Olivia's channel. Well, it looks like the good times might be coming to an end. The FBI has charged Olivia's mother on suspicion of sending $500,000 worth of bribes for the purpose of getting Olivia and her sister Isabella into the University of Southern California. Apparently, Olivia's sporting records also could have been faked to make it look like she was part of the school rowing team. According to authorities, neither of the two girls were ever part of any rowing team. When a counselor expressed concern, Miss Laughlin wrote to a participant in the alleged scam, "Our younger daughter has not submitted all her college applications and is confused on how to do so. I want to make sure she gets those in, as I don't want to call any attention to her with our little friend at her high school. Can you tell us how to proceed?" Olivia Jade was copied on this email thread. Olivia Jade's college experience is well documented on her YouTube channel. In one video last year, she rose eyebrows when she spoke about not wanting to do any schoolwork while she's at USC. In her own words, this is what Olivia said: "I don't know how much of school I'm gonna attend, but I'm gonna go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know." Seriously, dude, do you know how many people would love to be in your position? This quote is especially concerning considering the fact that Olivia Jade's mother scammed her into uni in the first place, or at least allegedly scammed her. Hundreds of individuals are being targeted by this FBI investigation. 50 people have already been charged in this investigation. It's being called Operation Varsity Blues. According to U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts Andrew Lelling, out of the 50 people already charged, there were 9 coaches, 2 exam administrators, 1 exam proctor, 1 college administrator, and 33 parents. The schools include USC, Stanford, and Georgetown, and it's one of the biggest college scam investigations ever. One family allegedly paid $6.5 million to get their child in. Some parents bribed SAT administrators to have their marks corrected or changed. Others photoshopped their kids' faces to make it look like they were on athletic teams. By the way, that one was Olivia Jade. It's not clear at this time if any students involved have been charged, but I wouldn't be surprised if at the very least got kicked out of college. I guess that might not matter for Olivia, after all, she doesn't really care about university, right? There is the possibility though that Olivia might be charged as well if there is sufficient evidence to prove that she knew her family was bribing the university. Naturally, the backlash to this issue on social media has been savage, to say the least. Olivia's comment sections are flooded with mean remarks like, "Hey dumb, what's 2 + 2? This topic upsets a lot of people, mainly people who had to work for the grades to get into college. Why is there this double standard? I thought going to post-secondary is about having excellent grades, not whether or not you have rich parents that you can use to bribe your way in. Not to mention the struggles of what happens after college, like paying off student debt."
As I've talked about on the channel before, the app TikTok has been blowing up, with plenty of people all over the world making short videos for entertainment. But in some countries, the type of content that you make can actually get you thrown in jail, and that's exactly what happened to an Egyptian influencer after she made TikToks that were deemed inappropriate and violated modesty laws in her home country. Sama al-Masri, who is well known in Egypt as a belly dancer, has now been sentenced to 3 years behind bars and given a fine of 300,000 Egyptian dollars, which is about 18,000 American dollars, over claims of inciting debauchery and immorality on social media, according to Egyptian newspaper Al-Haram. And if you don't know what debauchery is, it's defined as excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures. And after a law that was passed in Egypt back in 2018, making profiles on the internet that break these laws can result in at least 2 years in jail. She was detained in April as part of a crackdown that brought in many other influencers accused of doing similar immoral acts on TikTok and Instagram. But al-Masri denied all the allegations against her and even stated that the content that was put online was not actually put there by her, but it was taken from her phone without her consent after it was stolen roughly a year ago. And if you're wondering what kind of videos will get you jail time, they're basically the types of videos that I, to be honest, see daily on TikTok. And yes, if you've not been up to date with me, I'm now officially addicted to TikTok after talking trash about it for weeks. That algorithm is just too good, I'm sorry. But some of the videos I have seen of these women were just of them dancing, although I will have to admit some of it was a tad seductive, but all of them were totally fully clothed. And then a video of another woman that I saw was her dancing in a towel, then taking it off at one point, but when she did, it was totally covered and you couldn't see anything. It was more left to the imagination. And to be clear, this was not al-Masri, but another influencer that was arrested. But yeah, based on what I see daily, it's pretty run-of-the-mill stuff on TikTok, and to be honest, I've probably seen a lot worse. One member of the Egyptian parliament that pushed for al-Masri's arrest commented on the whole situation, saying, quote, "There's a huge difference between freedom and debauchery." And then he continued that al-Masri and the other influencers accused were destroying family values and traditions by partaking in activities banned under the law. But thankfully, al-Masri has said that she will appeal the ruling, and I'm praying that she will be able to get free. A women's rights lawyer who is the head of the Cairo Center for Development and Law told Reuters, quote, "Our conservative society is struggling with technological changes which have created a completely different environment and mindsets." And from my take, obviously this story is so sad and just so frustrating because women just doing normal internet stuff should not be landing them in jail, and I'm a super strong believer that what people do online should not affect them in real life unless it's genuinely inciting harm on someone or a specific group of people. And obviously dancing on TikTok is not harming anyone in my opinion.
Celebrities are not above the law, and some celebrities have done such terrible and illegal things this year, there is a chance they could be sent to jail by the end of it. And at number 10, Erika Jayne. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erika Jayne is looking at some serious jail time if prosecutors can prove that she was aware that her husband, Tom Girardi, was stealing money from his clients. The scandal started when Erika filed for divorce, and then only weeks later it was revealed that Tom was getting sued for fraud by multiple parties. As well, old clients of Tom started to come forward claiming that he didn't pay them their settlement fees. Specifically, families from the Lion Air Flight JT610 crash victims, whom Girardi had represented, alleged that he, his firm, and Jayne owed, quote, tens of millions to these families. A lawsuit was even filed by these families against both Tom and Erika, claiming that the couple stole the money to keep up their lavish lifestyle. The whole situation is playing out on the current season of the show, and it seems that a lot of people think Erika was involved. I'm so excited for tonight's episode. It airs on Wednesdays. And at number 9, Hayes Grier. Influencer Hayes Grier was arrested in North Carolina on July 30th of 2021 after he was accused of robbing, then beating a man. Hayes got big on Vine, but over time his influence has faded, and it seems that he's turned to illegal activities. And this is not his first run-in with the law either. Back in 2015, he was detained in California for charges of felony conspiracy, common law robbery, and assault causing serious bodily injury. He was accused of beating a man then taking his phone, and the physical altercation was so bad that the man was left with a broken bone, bruised ribs, and brain damage. I would assume the police will be much harsher with sentencing now that he has a history of violent behavior. And at number 8, Drake Bell. Former Nickelodeon star Drake Bell, best known for his role in Drake and Josh, was arrested in Cleveland on June 3rd of 2021, charged with attempted endangerment of children. The documents show he was charged for other crimes relating to indecent activities, specifically towards juveniles. He pled not guilty to these crimes. Apparently the event happened in 2017, the same day that Bell performed at the Odin Concert Club in Cleveland. During the sentencing, the victim that came forward, who is now 19, said that she faced physical and mental trauma at the hands of the actor. In her statement, the victim called Bell a, quote, monster who preyed on her and said he is a danger. In the end, he was sentenced to 2 years probation and 200 hours of community service on the charges. And at number 7, Joshua Duggar. Joshua Duggar, who is the star of 19 Kids and Counting, was arrested in Arkansas on April 29th of 2021 in connection to a used car dealership that he used to own. The arrest was made in relation to a 2019 raid of that dealership, which revealed thousands of hours of disturbing footage. I can't say what exactly this footage showed, but it was essentially indecent content involving children. The police who charged him claimed that it was, quote, in the top 5 of the worst that they had ever examined. He is facing 20 years of imprisonment and fines up to $250,000 on each count. There were other accusations made against him in 2015 that involved him doing similar indecent conduct to his sisters. He was also involved in another scandal when it was revealed that he was using the site Ashley Madison to cheat on his wife. And hopefully for all these crimes he will feel the full extent of the law. And at number 6, Conor McGregor. At the 2021 MTV VMAs, Conor McGregor made headlines when he attacked Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly on the red carpet.
Apparently Conor wanted to introduce himself to the couple, but they told their security to not let him do so. So Conor got mad and decided to throw his drink on the couple while lunging at them. After this whole altercation, people are bringing up Conor's violent past because he's known to get physical quickly when in altercations with people that he doesn't like. Some are even thinking he could face legal repercussions for his actions, especially since he has been charged in the past. Conor didn't actually touch the couple, but he was intending to harm them, which can warrant an assault charge. As well, throwing a drink on someone is definitely illegal, and since it was done on the VMA's red carpet, MTV might actually decide to file a lawsuit as well. Halfway at number 5, Jen Shah. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah was arrested by the feds on March 30th of 2021 for allegedly ripping off people in a telemarketing scam. The footage of her getting arrested from months ago just aired on TV. The case against her claims that she, quote, allegedly ripped off hundreds of victims across the country, many of whom were over 55, encouraging them to invest in dubious online projects and selling bogus business services from 2012 to as recently as this month, according to an indictment, basically taking their retirement money away from them. She's facing charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering, for which she could end up with 30 years in prison if found guilty. I can assume this case will also be played out on the current season of the show. I've never watched Salt Lake City, so maybe I'll watch this season. I mean, it seems juicy. And at number 4, Chad Wheeler. Chad Wheeler, former offensive tackle for the Seattle Seahawks, was arrested on January 25th of 2021 on suspicion of felony domestic violence. According to the Seattle Times, Wheeler appeared in King County District Court after he was accused of getting physical with his girlfriend. He was told to stay away from her, along with being forced to give up any weapons. This all happened after police responded to a call from a woman who was locked inside a bathroom following a fight with Wheeler, where she feared for her life. She suffered a dislocated arm and was bleeding. The report also stated that police officers could hear her screaming when they arrived at the apartment. His contract with the Seahawks was set to expire when these allegations came to light, so they didn't go forward with him. And at number 3, Shia LaBeouf. FKA Twigs' real name Talia Deborah Barnett recently exposed that she endured a toxic and abusive relationship with Shia LaBeouf. She later decided to sue him for his harmful and manipulative actions, unearthing tons of stories where LaBeouf was toxic, reckless, and even put her life in danger. Apparently he was so controlling that she wasn't able to look other men in the eye or he would get angry. She eventually had the courage to leave and is now hoping she gets justice for the terrible treatment that he put her through. The two parties are currently trying to settle their differences without a trial, but if not, it will be set for sometime in 2023. Right now, Shia is being sentenced to weekly therapy and sober tests to deal with his issues. And at number 2, Marilyn Manson. Actress Evan Rachel Wood posted to her Instagram on February 1st, exposing that she had been abused by Marilyn Manson. In the long statement, she said that he started engaging with her while she was only a teen, and she was, quote, brainwashed and manipulated into submission. She then claimed that she didn't want to live in fear and she wants to expose him before he does any more harm, concluding, quote, I stand with the many women who will no longer be silent. Wood, who was 33, met Manson when she was 18 and he was 36 back in 2007. They later got engaged in 2010 for 8 months until the relationship ended. This statement on Instagram came as 4 other women have recently come forward with allegations against Manson. All the allegations from the women are very similar, showing a pattern of horrible allegations. Hopefully he will serve jail time for his actions. And finally at number 1, Amber Heard. As more evidence comes out about the relationship between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, it's becoming clear that there is way more to the story than the public knew, and Amber was not truthful about her allegations against Johnny. During the course of their messy divorce, it was revealed that people who supported Amber changed their sides, Amber pooped in their bed, and most recently body camera footage showed that Johnny did not trash their apartment the night they broke up in 2016. The general consensus around Amber is so bad that there was even a massive Change.org petition started to get Amber fired from Aquaman 2, however that petition was unsuccessful. But Johnny Depp is now going forward with another libel suit against Amber for a 2018 Washington Post op-ed accusing him of domestic violence during their brief marriage. Their court date is slated for early 2022 and hopefully the truth will prevail.
And at number 10, Andy Dick. Recently, Andy Dick was arrested for attacking someone with a deadly weapon. The LAPD told Us Weekly that the 55-year-old star was taken into custody and his own girlfriend turned on him. While speaking with the press, she said she knew about the incident and added, "That is true, I've been speaking to a lot of people about this. It was the worst week with him. Every day there was some sort of problem. There were signs something was going to happen." According to reports, Andy was arrested after he had hit a man named Lucas with a metal chair that resulted in Lucas being hospitalized in LA. His girlfriend wasn't even shocked that he went to jail, going on to say, "There are warning signs with people, it doesn't happen out of the blue. When I heard he was in jail, I wasn't that surprised." She added that she was happy that he was in jail because it meant that he was safe for now. "We don't have to worry that he's going to die today." Although Andy was released from jail after he posted his own bail. But that doesn't mean that he shouldn't go back. In at number 9, Chris Brown. Chris Brown was lucky that he built his following early on before engaging in this nefarious behavior. In 2009, he flipped out following an argument with his then girlfriend Rihanna and chose to physically attack her. The image of Rihanna's bruised face was plastered all over the internet, yet he still did not go to jail. Then in 2013, he and his bodyguard were charged with a felony for beating someone up, but when he showed up to court, their sentence was reduced to a misdemeanor. The only time that he's done is 36 hours in jail for beating someone up and his probation for beating up Rihanna. That, by all accounts, should have been a felony domestic violence conviction with real jail time behind it. Instead, he was only required to check in with his probation officer and serve 1,000 hours of community service. In at number 8, Mel Gibson. Nobody is deserving of more jail time than this guy right here. In 2006, he was arrested for drunk driving and speeding with an open container of alcohol. The officer also cited in his report that Gibson was spewing racial slurs at the officer while he was being questioned. This would be the actor's second DUI, for which he was only sentenced to 3 years probation, 1 year of alcohol abuse treatment, a fine, and a 90-day probation from driving. Additionally, in 2009, when his probation was up, the judge ruled that this conviction could be removed from his record. Not even 2 years later, Gibson was back in court, where he would then plead no contest to 1 misdemeanor count of domestic battery committed against his girlfriend at the time. Amongst these facts, sprinkled in with every other crazy thing that he's done as an actor, he should definitely still be in jail. In at number 7, Kevin Spacey. There's no doubt that his Me Too allegations have successfully shut down this actor's career. Spanning from multiple allegations in the US and the UK, Spacey still has managed to avoid any jail time whatsoever. Spacey was charged with indecent attacks and battery in connection with an incident that took place with a young man in a Nantucket bar. The young man accused him of groping him, and as a result, Kevin was looking at facing up to 5 years in prison. The biggest piece of evidence in this case was the man's cell phone that had vital text messages that he had sent to his girlfriend about meeting Kevin Spacey. However, thanks to the missing evidence, Kevin's defense team could now claim that the accuser was guilty as well and didn't want that to come up in court, so the whole thing was just dropped. Really sad, actually. In at number 6, Danny Masterson. Danny, who is best known for his role as Hyde on That 70s Show, was recently charged with 3 counts of SA. So far, there have been 3 victims that have stepped forward with separate incidents that occurred between 2001 and 2003. All the alleged crimes are believed to have taken place at his home in the Hollywood Hills. If convicted, he is looking at a sentence of 45 years to life in a state prison. For those of you who don't know, Danny is also involved with the Church of Scientology. After these charges were laid against him, Leah Remini took to Twitter with joy that the victims of Scientology were finally being heard, which is most definitely an insinuation that the church had previously covered up what Danny had been doing in order to protect their own image. Although we cannot confirm these claims, it does seem like something they would do. Back in 2017, he was fired from the Netflix show called The Ranch amid these allegations alone. He's still denying any of these claims made against him by the women, but with that much heat on him, it's unlikely that his acting career will continue. In number 5, Jamie Spears. With Jamie Spears stepping down from his role as co-conservator for his daughter, many people want to see him go to jail. A day after Britney Spears tearfully said that she wanted to charge her father with conservatorship of experts say it's possible a criminal charge could be brought, but it would require the pop star's legal team to prove Jamie Spears had been stealing her money within the past 13 years. Her lawyer Matthew Rosengart is going to lead the charge on this, saying that his firm will be taking a top-to-bottom look at exactly how Jamie had handled his daughter's conservatorship. Jamie's lawyers repeatedly denied the allegations against him and said that he was only doing what was best for his daughter, but I suppose time will tell just how much he cared if the financial records get exposed. In number 4, Jussie Smollett. The former star of Empire, Jussie Smollett, got himself into some real trouble with Chicago PD after he faked a racial attack on himself. At midnight on January 29, 2019, Smollett said that he was attacked on a Chicago street outside of his hotel. According to the report, he told police that 2 white men in a ski mask yelled racist and homophobic slurs at him as they tied a rope around his neck, poured bleach on him, and yelled, "This is MAGA country." Now, these are serious allegations, and the entire internet was furious, with many calling it a modern-day lynching. Later on, investigators found 2 potential suspects, though. Although the brothers were initially suspects, they told investigators that Mr. Smollett had coordinated a fake attack and paid them to participate in it, a far stretch from the 2 white MAGA hat wearing men that Jussie just described. Although he filed a false police report and then lied under oath, Jussie skated by without any criminal charges. This is still a developing case, but we're assuming the Chicago PD isn't going to let him get away with this. Jussie was recently indicted on 6 new charges which allege that the actor planned and participated in the staging of a hate crime against himself. In number 3, Roman Polanski. By some, Roman Polanski is still regarded as a great filmmaker. That being said, this man has a very dark side to him, and some of the accusations I'm about to discuss may be difficult to hear. In 1977, Roman Polanski was accused of having unlawful sex with a then 13-year-old. at the home of actor Jack Nicholson in Los Angeles. She had been hired for a photo shoot, and according to her report, she had been drugged with painkillers and champagne before Polanski carried out his attacks. After spending just 42 days in jail for this, he fled the country when the judge said that he was planning to sentence him for longer. After that initial case, Polanski was smacked with 2 more claims. One from 2010, where British actor Charlotte Lewis claimed that he had forced himself on her when she was only 16, and again in 2016, a woman identified only as Robin claimed she too was victimized by the director when she was also around 16 years old. How has he managed to escape a longer sentence? It is absolutely mind-boggling. In number 2, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn oddly laughing off this very serious crime that she was faced with, claiming that it was what the media would love. Sure, but also if you hit someone with your car, then you can't really blame the media for saying that you look guilty. While Jenner was driving, let's say, inattentively, she slammed into the back of a Lexus, sending the car into oncoming traffic. Within moments, a Hummer collided with the Lexus, killing the driver as a result. According to the district attorney's report, they could not prove that Jenner's conduct was unreasonable, and therefore the case was thrown out. The authorities then shifted the blame to the victim, Kim Howe, who obviously could not defend herself. They claimed that she had rear-ended in another car first, and then Caitlyn's collision was a result of Kim's poor driving. Yeah, that's a big no. Kim Howe's family ended up suing Caitlyn Jenner, claiming her negligence was to blame. Last but certainly least on our number 1 spot, Kyle Massey. According to TMZ, who first reported on this story, Kyle Massey is now facing a felony for allegedly sending, let's call it, rated R material to a 13-year-old girl that he knew. TMZ also obtained some legal documents that show that he had been charged with 1 count of communication with this person for immoral purposes. The incident in question is believed to have taken place between December 2018 and January 2019. Apparently it is also connected to a civil suit as well that took place back in March of 2019. At the time, Massey was being sued for $1.5 million for allegedly sending a lot of R-rated content via Snapchat. However, in response to that civil suit, he claimed that he was actually being extorted. According to court documents, Massey was scheduled to appear for his arraignment in King County Criminal Court in Washington, but failed to show up.